If you've ever wondered what a short sale definition is, you've come to the right place, although the answers may not be what you're expecting. Hi, my name is Dohn Thornton. I'm known as Don the Short Sale Guy because I've been doing short sales for 20 years. I've helped more than 3,500 homeowners get out from under upside down mortgages, foreclosure, save their credit, and get a fresh start. In today's video, I'm going to talk about what the short sale definition is. I'm going to talk about what an upside down property is, why you can't sell an upside down property like you would normally, and what a short sale is and how it's able to solve these problems. So let's talk about what is an upside down house. Now, it's also known as an underwater house. There's different slang terms for it. Basically, what it means is that your today's value of your property is less than how much the payoff would be of your mortgage. Or let's say if it's the same, let's say that if you owe 200,000 and it's only worth 200,000, remember, you've got to take care of closing costs and commissions along with that. So actually, officially, you would be right on the mark of what's owed and what the property is worth. But when you add the additional cost that come with selling your property, then you're upside down. And that's what it means, or you're underwater. So that's a phenomenon that really hasn't been around lately in the last 2 or 3 years. I remember in February of 2020, that's when COVID really hit the United States. That was the last full month of doing normal real estate investing before the foreclosure moratorium was announced federally and locally in the States. So basically, for 18 months after that, there were no foreclosures being filed. But that last month, we picked up 24 short sales in Florida alone, which means that there were a lot of people that were underwater or upside down their mortgages. So you may ask, well, why does that happen? Well, it's very simple. When a significant portion of the buyers in Florida are FHA, which is only 97%. You can finance 97% of the transaction. So you only have to have $3,000 worth of, or 3% of a down payment plus whatever your closing costs are going to be. Or they could use a USDA, the United States Department of Agriculture, where you get 100% financing. Or if you're a veteran, thank you for your service, you get 100% financing. So you can understand that if you buy a property, I think if it's a 30-year fixed, let's say, you're basically paying interest on the first 15 years of your mortgage. Very little of that money you're paying every month is going towards principal. So that means that the only way that you're going to not end up being upside down on a mortgage if you get into financial problems is if the market appreciates. That's what's been happening the last 2.5, 3 years. Before this artificial bubble was created by COVID, people would buy a property, there would be normal appreciation levels. And, when you combine commissions and closing costs, there wouldn't, they would, if they got into trouble, so that their job hours got cut or they lost their job, there was medical issues, whatever. There's a myriad of reasons why people get in trouble financially. They would not be able to sell their property when they bought with almost no money down or no money down. Okay, so that is why people get into upside down or underwater situation with their mortgages. Now, I would love it if you would go down here and subscribe to my channel. I am one of the most prolific content creators when it comes to short sales and real estate investing here on the internet, and I like to give you relevant, good content. And I'd love it if you would subscribe, and don't forget to hit the little bell, because that's going to notify you whenever a video drops. I do 1 or 2 videos a week. I took a little bit of a break because short sales were not really a huge thing the last few years, but now I'm back on it, doing these things once or twice a week. So please subscribe. Now let's talk about why you can't sell a property normally if it's upside down. Now, I touched upon this a little bit earlier in this video, but I'm just going to rehash it for you to make sure we understand what's going on here. So when you are behind on your mortgage, you're going to get hit with late payments. Late fees. You're going to get hit with back mortgage payments that aren't being paid. And then if you reach the point where the bank, you're like 90 days overdrawn and overdrawn, but or behind on your payments, then the bank may very well say, you know what, we're just going to file a foreclosure. And they're doing that more often now because they feel like they can get almost all of their money back in a foreclosure auction. So they're being much more aggressive on their foreclosures. So when you have that, you can call your bank, you can ask them for a payoff, but the mistake that most people make is they don't understand that when it gets to a certain point where the bank is contracted with an attorney, they're going to tack on their attorney's fees plus all the late fees, all the penalties. So I've had situations where a homeowner was convinced that they owed X amount of money. I have one in Jacksonville, for example, where she showed me a statement saying that her mortgage balance was $75,000. I insisted that we get a payoff from the the bank's mortgage company, attorney. And when it came in, it was like almost $50,000 more than she thought because of all of the fees that go on to that. So she was thinking she had options and she actually didn't. So think about this for a second. If she had $75,000 as her payoff, you know, she could sell it for like in the 120s and she'd be fine. But when all of that stuff is there, she would actually have to come out of pocket. She would have to, whatever the buyer buys it for. Let's say the buyer could do 120, but she still has to cover the full payoff of the mortgage, plus all any liens and encumbrances, plus any closing costs, plus commissions if she has a realtor. So now, let's say conservatively speaking, she would have to find an additional $15,000 to $20,000 that she would have to bring to the table, hand it to the title company for that property to be sold normally with a full payment to everybody, including the mortgage company. That's why upside down homeowners can't sell their properties normally. They don't have the money to make up the difference of what the property's worth and how much they can sell it for and how much is owed against it. So I would love for you to leave a comment. I think that would be awesome. If you go down and see the comment section, just tell me what you think about the video. Tell me what you think about this in general. If you have any questions, maybe you have a request. Maybe you say, hey, Don, I'd like for you to do a video about this. I'd love to get requests from my viewers. So absolutely, leave a comment. Now, let's talk about a short sale. Now, how a short sale solves this problem. By definition, a short sale means that when you sell your property, it's being sold short of a full payoff. That's where the short sale terminology comes from. So going back to our previous example, if our homeowner in Jacksonville thought that she owed $75,000 on her house, and actually she owed $125,000 as a mortgage payoff. Now we're still in actively doing a short sale on this. I suspect it's probably going to come in about 120, maybe 115. So if she has 70, it's like $125,000 is the payoff, then it's going to be sold at a lesser price, and whatever is left over is going to be written off and forgiven by the bank. Usually, 20 years I've been doing this, maybe 5 times in 20 years, I've seen a bank reserve the right to go after and collect. But that doesn't happen very often anymore because what would be the incentive for the homeowner, honestly? So a short sale is where you work with a company like ours, and we come in and my broker partner lists it, and we go out there and market the property. We do all of our due diligence. We get down in there and we find out everything that's wrong with the property. We get licensed contractor estimates. We basically are going to do everything we can to convince the bank that the house is really only worth X amount of money. They're going to have an appraiser or a broker or a realtor called a broker's price opinion, and they're always going to come in higher because there's no rule that they have to come in higher, but they're not going to get any more orders to go out and do appraisals. If they consistently come in high, the bank will just choose somebody else. So there's this unwritten pressure on them to come in higher. So we know going into it, it's going to be higher value. They're here, we want to be here. So The key to a successful short sale is to get the bank to come from here down close to here to be able to get it sold. And that's where our expertise is, because we are so good at that. And that's called a value dispute. When the appraisal comes in higher than what the offer is here, then we can do a value dispute, and that's really where we earn our money. And that's why we're so good. And listen, if you are a homeowner and you need someone to do a short sale, and they don't have the experience that we have, then you should go with somebody else. You should go with us. So that's how that works. So basically, the bank pays everything, pays your closing costs, pays your commissions, pays most, if not all, of the costs of all the transaction. You won't have to come to the bank to the table with anything at the closing table. And then at the end of the day, there'll be a short sale agreement that you sign, the bank signs, that has the terms. It'll show that this is the price, this is the buyer, and the bank will state in the agreement letter that they will hold you harmless. They will not come after you or pursue collections against you, and it will be on your credit report is paid settled or paid short sale, which means that you can qualify for a mortgage, conventional mortgage, in 2 years instead of 7 years if you get a deed in lieu of foreclosure, or you let it go to foreclosure auction, or you get a bankruptcy. So that's why a short sale is so good. So I'd like for you to go down to the description of this video. If you're a homeowner, there's my website. You can go and fill out your information, and I can get back to you. If you're a real estate investor and you'd like to do short sales, we can teach you, and we can also joint venture with you. Leverage our experience. Take a lead that has no value for you and monetize it and create a second income stream. So I want to thank you again for watching this video. I look forward to doing another video soon.